Hello everyone, I'm Rachel and I welcome you all to Executive Corner Expert Talks. Today I'm speaking with Heather Astbury. Now Heather is the MD and co-founder of The Reputation People. They're a specialist agency that works with clients to build and defend the reputation of brands and businesses. Here at Kalkine, we bring you industry leaders, successful business owners, market and equity advocates all under one roof to help you discover the insights of the stock market and help you understand how you can create multiple passive income streams. Welcome to you today, Heather. How are you?
Hello, it's very nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Great to chat with you today, Heather. So firstly, if we could get a little bit more info from you about your company, can you tell us the importance of a brand's reputation and what kind of industries you do work with?
Well, looking at reputation and how important it is for a business, Deloitte recently did a survey that showed that 25% of the market value of a company is linked to its reputation. So obviously it's crucial. And we work with companies in many different industries and all across the world to help them to build a great reputation and then to keep that reputation once they've got it. And we work with companies in financial services, in digital wallets, e-payment solutions, cryptocurrency, and lots of traditional businesses as well, such like software development, theatre production, anything really.
It definitely sounds very well-rounded. So what do you think are the most important aspects that are significant for building a good market reputation for any business?
Well, first of all, your communication plan needs to be linked to your overall business objectives. There's no point in just being talked about for the sake of it. You need to be talked about in the right way and in the places where audiences that matter to your business are going to hear you. So that's the first point. Secondly, don't try to talk about everything at once. Businesses will have huge numbers of things to talk about, but if they try to talk about everything at once, they'll end up confusing their audience. So it's far better to say one thing 10 times than 10 things once. And thirdly, be aware of who you're talking to and what it is that they might be interested in hearing from you. Don't necessarily think about what you want to talk about, but think about what your audience wants to hear.
And Heather, from your experience, what do you believe should be the basis of an effective communication strategy to help people drive their businesses forward?
Well, I mean, first of all, you need to be open and honest and transparent. And you need to think about the audience that you're talking to and what it is that you want to tell them and how you're going to get them to engage with your business in the way that you want them to engage with you. Every business has a vast number of stakeholders, whether that be the staff that work for the business, whether it be your suppliers, whether it's potential clients, whether it's politicians, regulators, whatever. And you need to think very carefully about how you talk to each of those audiences because you are going to talk to them differently.
And you mentioned about when you do talk to your audiences, not to bombard them with too much information at once. What do you believe are other common mistakes that businesses can make while engaging with their stakeholders?
Well, there are quite a few. Firstly, I would say that businesses, in addition to trying to give too much information, they use too much jargon. And every industry has its own jargon, but in order to communicate well, you have to be able to cut through the jargon and talk normally as if you're talking to a real person. And getting rid of the jargon means that you will be much more easily understood by everybody that you want to talk to. And the other problem that I sometimes see with businesses is instead of talking too much or giving too much information, they give too little. And often businesses feel like they might not have something exciting enough to talk about, so they just don't talk at all. And that's as bad as talking too much.
Now, obviously, social media is here to stay, but how significant do you believe social media is in the business world these days?
Social media is huge. I mean, we've all seen what happened when Elon Musk made a tweet and what that did to the value of his company. So I think what's really important to remember about social media is that conversations are happening on social media all the time, whether you are part of that conversation or not. So the conversation is going to take place with or without you. Um, so I think it's really important that you engage and help to drive the narrative and make sure that the conversation that's happening about your business is the right conversation, the conversation that you want to have. It basically comes down to the bottom line of if you don't control your reputation, somebody else will.
And just lastly, Heather, how do you believe the pandemic has changed or impacted the public relations industry?
Well, yes, I mean, the pandemic has affected the PR industry in the same way that it has many other industries. I mean, they often talk about how in times of financial hardship, the first thing that companies cut is their PR budget. And we have seen that during the pandemic. I personally have lost clients because those particular clients have gone out of business or where they felt that they needed to cut back and PR was one of the things that they cut back on. Of course, I would argue that that's the wrong thing to do, and PR is the last thing that you should cut. However, um, another of the sort of impacts that the pandemic has had is the ability to meet clients face to face and the ability to meet with media face to face. We're all PR people are used to meeting journalists at events and talking to them and finding out a bit more about the stories that they're looking to write about and how our clients can potentially fit in. So that's something that we've missed, obviously, during the pandemic. But on the plus side, because we're also used to doing everything virtually now, it opens up so many more markets and so many more opportunities for us to have conversations without actually being face to face.
Well, thank you, Heather. It's been very insightful to chat with you today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, I will sign off for today, but watch this space for more. Till then, stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkine.